Hi guys, welcome to the Music B&B. I'm Callum, and today we're going to be reacting to an artist known as, and please hope I get this right, Gauthier Kieffer. I could be very wrong, but that is the name of the artist. He's a 20-year-old French composer that makes music as a hobby. Been composing on doors for about 9 years, entirely self-taught and mixing completely by himself. Olympus is the album, and it is a journey through Greek mythology where every track depicts a different god or goddess. Each track has a different style and inspiration as to reflect the god as best as he can. The final 2 tracks are a medley of the many late motifs found in the album. The album took about 6 months to compose and is the biggest project by Gauthier to date, and it's the one that he's the most proud of. He also had a few friends collaborate with him, and most of them weren't professionals either, so completely sort of independent artist mix, which is something I love. Okay, let's get into it. We're listening on Bandcamp, and it's classical music, so we're going to prepare ourselves, got a nice cup of tea, and I'm ready with my ears. So let's go. I'm going to start with our first track, which is called Hestia, Goddess of the Hearth. Oh, this sounds gentle. Just what I need today. Kind of reminds me of, I don't know, again, like a childhood bedroom music box, ballet kind of feel. And what I might do with this review, as it is mainly classical and it's quite long, is I'll cut my main reaction points so that as a video it's a bit more engaging. But that is not to say that I'm not listening to all of this in real time all the way through, because I am. Because I want to feel how it gets to me over a lapsed time. I always find the interesting thing about reacting to classical music is that it's not something that you sit down and really listen to unless you are a classical musician yourself. It's something you would put on in the background whilst doing other things, which can be a bit of a challenge when it comes to reacting to music in a video format, because I have to be the entertainer as well, and there's only so much to be said about things like this, because it is something most people, when they listen to music, they consume it whilst doing something else, making food, walking, you know. So to actually sit down and focus on something like this is completely new world to me. I do love the build up here, nice emotion. Gorgeous. Gorgeous piece of music. Second song is Poseidon, God of the Sea. I know a bit more about Poseidon than Hestia, so see if I feel this sort of sea kind of vibe. I want to get a different god or goddess vibe between each track. Okay. Got very sort of percussive instruments going on. I feel like the percussive instruments and I forgot what they're called, the little plucky things that you use, the kalimbas. Really nice. I think they help me picture this wide open seascape, and then the soft violins or violas in the background are just making that kind of wavy kind of sound. Oh, and now I'm picturing mermaids with this female vocal. The sea sirens. I love how the vocals have developed throughout this. No idea what's been said, but I don't think I need to. I'm not supposed to know. Almost like a mermaid's song. Just a beautiful, alluring sound that would cause sailors to crash on the rocks. Well, I'm definitely crashing on these rocks. It's just become this like almighty kind of dreamscape towards the end. Almost with a sinking kind of feeling. I love it. It's almost like the boat's crashed and I'm like being pulled down to the depths. Obviously I wouldn't love that, but I love the imagery I'm feeling from this. I could be completely wrong with the intended message, but I don't think that matters. This is how I am experiencing this music. Those just giant reverberated soundscapes just feel huge. Wow. And that's only a second track. Okay. Our third track is Artemis, goddess of the hunt. Ooh, I'm imagining some kind of maybe tribal stuff, perhaps. Haha. The imagery is amazing. Wow. Getting some definitely like tribal hunt sort of stuff. Like a mammoth hunt. I'm also getting some sort of Skyrim-esque vibes, you know. Almost expected to hear a Fus Roda, if you know what that means. If you don't, you should. Okay, bit of calm during this hunt. And this Spanish guitar that's come through. I say Spanish. Just a nice acoustic guitar. Not sure what mode it's in. I mean, this is stuff I could just never, ever create. And some people just baffle me with their ability to make sounds with classical music. Their understanding of what works with what is baffling. By the way, if you want to, you can check out my music. It's linked down below in the description. I go by the name of 315 for my sort of alternative, weird, experimental, pop, whatever stuff. And then I go by Delete for my electronic, metal, hard rock stuff. You choose. Oof. Okay. I'm liking the birds in the background here. I'm not sure what part of the hunt this would be. Would this be after everything, the aftermath? I am enjoying that. Within this classical music, there are vocals. I think sometimes we need that human element to keep ourselves ticking over and interested. Very good, very good. Okay, and next one is Apollo, god of light. I'm picturing sparkling, twinkling sounds. Morning sounds, perhaps, associated with light. I'm kind of just getting a sort of rising morning feeling. Springtime, perhaps. Where's this going? We've been here a while, I think. Wasn't expecting vocals. We've had R's and O's. Now we got singing. I feel like the vocals could do a bit more reverb, perhaps, and a bit quieter in the background, perhaps. Maybe removing some of the frequencies between 200 to 500, make the vocals brighter. Maybe double up the vocals, one on either side, sing it twice. Nice to have vocals included, definitely. There's one thing I've spent a lot of time trying to perfect is vocal mixing, and it's the thing I've always struggled with. Okay, getting serious here. Oh. Yeah. metalheaded me is loving this. The double bass drum. Okay, I wasn't expecting... I thought it'd be like classical the way through, and it's not. It's a really lovely, like, interesting mix of lots of different genres and styles. And I think that's brought through from all these different gods and goddesses. What a great idea for an album, for a concept. I feel like I want to do the same, but a completely, like, rock version. Maybe with the Viking gods or something. Concept album. You got me thinking of making concept albums. What's this about, eh? I mean, it's just... This one is... I mean, they've all been great, but Apollo stood out to me. Yeah. It's an epic. It is completely an epic. Apollo, God of Light. Wow. Fantastic job. Okay, our next song is called... I think it's Hebe? Habe? I've never said that word in my life. Goddess of Youth. Okay. I knew they had a lot of gods, but there's some I had no idea. So I'm feeling like this will sound like maybe spa therapy treatment. Goddess of Youth, perhaps like rejuvenating the fountain of youth. So I'm thinking of that kind of spa restoration kind of thing. Or maybe just a song that imbues childlike wonder and... I don't know. I sound too fancy when I'm saying that, so I'm going to stop. It's got in the water like the spa. The voices in the background are interesting. It makes me feel like it's more like a bath time or a... No, not bath time. The childlike voices in the background make me imagine like baptism. Playing at the park, perhaps in like a little... One of those tiny... What are they called? Toddler ponds? I don't know what they're called. I used to love those as a kid. I'm loving... I mean, the children's in the background noises, I'm liking it, but I still don't think it's necessary to help me understand that this sounds like youth, because it does anyway without that in the background. But yeah, a bit more of a slow mover compared to God of Light. That's okay. And this has almost become a very sort of creepy ending now, with just the voices and these eerie singers. Something doesn't sound right. Sounds a little off. A bit more unusual. Now the next one. It's called Hephaestus, I think. Hephaestus? He's the god of fire, so I'm expecting it all to be metal. Let's see. At the moment, it sounds like a Legend of Zelda Fire Temple backing music. Weirdly enough, this is our shortest track, as 3 minutes and 8 seconds. Compared to our longest, which is coming up, 9 minutes and 10. Okay, ooh, we got a beat. I'm being taken through the motions on this one. I saw 15 songs and I was like, oh no, this is going to take a while. I'm going to get very bored. It's like 80s God of Fire. I'd say as a concept, I'm not picturing fire as much with this one. At this point, at the start, I kind of was. I'm loving these synths, these 80s synths, very cool. I mean, there's just so many emotions you take through. Now we're ending with this calm, reflective kind of sound, but with an air of sinister something or nothing. Next is Hermes the Messenger. I want to hear flying. I want it to sound quick. Whoosh. Oh, those are good pipes. Come on. Kind of want you to start speeding up. You're a messenger. You got to get there quick. Yeah, a bit of a slow mover for me, Hermes. I don't know. I was not feeling the messengeriness of it. Yeah, unfortunately, as beautiful as this track is, it's not giving me much back, I think. Athena, goddess of justice. Ooh, got almost like a soldier marching kind of sounds here. Okay. We've got to get justice, fight for what's fair. That's what Athena did. It's almost alien sounding. Oh, not now. Okay, these are war drums. This is the kind of sound I would expect for God of War. Yeah, this feels very Zelda traveling on an important mission. This feels more like what the Messenger, I think, should have sounded like. This kind of upbeat, like, we gotta get there, we got urgency, you know? Even the tempo changes, speeding up and speeding up. I love it. This is a cause for war more than justice. Building and building and building. It's got to come to a crescendo soon, right? And relief. I wouldn't know how to portray the justice, but that felt more like a war than justice. But fighting for justice, I get it. This is Aphrodite, goddess of love. Sounds quite sinister for a goddess of love. Is it more like the sinister side of alluring someone? Rather than just the happy major key sound of love. You've got that guitar in the background just din 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 din, just giving it that sinister undertone. But then resolving. It does feel very lovely. Now this is what I was expecting more of for Goddess of Love. You got the harp involved, okay. Almost dreamy, angelic vibes. Liking the bass in the background. So I'm 9 songs in, and it's at this point where album fatigue can start to set in. That feeling of getting a bit fed up, that can settle in. I haven't felt that yet. And we've got 6 more tracks to listen to. So the question is, are they all going to hold my attention? Because this one is Ares, God of War, and it's 9 minutes long. And that's not even the longest track. We've got a 12-minute epic at the end, which is supposed to be a combination of all the tracks into one sort of medley to encompass all the gods being together and working together. I do like that. As a concept, this album is just chef's kiss. It's doing the right thing. I'm surprised this didn't come in straight away to battle like Goddess of Justice. Oh, but we do have the pipes. Those sort of war pipes. Tribalistic pipes. Whatever MIDI classical pack Gauthier has, it's damn good. You wouldn't be able to tell. Okay, vocals mixed a bit nicer here, but a bit hard to understand. Again, remove some of that low frequency in the male vocals, around 200. Now, this is what I'd expected. Rock and roll for the war. Solos and tranquil bits and heavy bits, and it's kind of like all the different parts of war, the loss, the battling. Those are the two parts I can think of. Oh dear. I thought we'd kick in again. No, we're still... We've got police! Okay. To me, I feel like there's been two places where I've lost the feeling of that Greekness. One is these police voices, and the other time was the children's voices. But children's voices weren't as bad because you could hear those back in those days. But this now brings this whole project, which I had imagined being, because look at the album artwork, I imagined it being in this Greek setting. It's suddenly become modernized. And perhaps some Greek quotes from famous Greek people might have worked better here. Very nice, almost Queen-esque, you know, Brian May solo we got here. Very sinister. Again, I feel Athena, goddess of justice, would have depicted Ares, god of war, better, and that's just me. This is Dionysus, god of wine, which sounds like the start of a retro game. Love it. Having a good time. Having a great time. The jazzy kind of piano does sound like a sleazy sort of let's drink some wine kind of thing, but the game sounds, no, I imagine I'm more in one of those sort of gaming lounges drinking some cheap, I don't know, fruity drink. The versatility to be able to change styles between these songs is great, because it doesn't get me bored. I'm always interested to find the next sound. Okay, bass working hard. Same with the drums, man. Drums going crazy. Oh yeah. Feel like I need to start scatting over this. And again, it's like left turns after left turns, this song. I like it. I like it. I'm a left turn kind of guy. I love being... I love my predictions to be changed. Oh, we got the gamelan. What's it? Not gamelan. Harpsichord mixed with game sounds. It's such a peculiar mashup. Mixed with the jazz. I mean, can you give this a genre? No. Does that mean it's bad? No. I like that. I'd say that's my second favorite. Yeah. Dionysus, god of wine. Amazing. This is Oisis. I hope I said that right. Goddess of anxiety. So this should be a very stressful sounding track, I think. It should make me feel very on edge. And already, it sounds quite disturbing. Oh my god, right. Please stop. I was having a good time and now I'm feeling really anxious. Oh, these sounds. Oh, don't cry. I don't think tears are anxiety. This is more like goddess of sadness now. Yeah, this is anxiety inducing. Something's coming to get me. Very quiet, open space, lo-fi sounds in the background. I like that. I like that in the sense that I didn't like it because it made me feel anxious, and that was the point of it, so I liked it because the art had the intended effects. This is Zeus, the one we've all been waiting for, God of thunder. Wow, that took a long time to get out of my mouth there. I want to hear rumbles, crashes, big booms. Okay, this is quite 80s sounding, more like Thor, God and Thunder. Although that latest film, not as good as Ragnarok. Sounds like Zeus is travelling to somewhere to throw some bolts down, teach some lessons. Very nice. Not the best, but still depicted Zeus God of Thunder very well. So this is Olympus Part 1. It sounds like a very natural sounding guitar. I feel like it was recorded instead of MIDI. Quite a bit of low end on that though, a bit of a boom to it. A little boom. So this should be what's called a leitmotif, a compilation of the songs we've heard in Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 being 8 minutes long and Part 2 being 12 minutes long. Ultimately making it 20 minutes combo of everything we've heard before. I question if it'll work to hear it this way, or whether it'll be something I'll go, a bit bored of hearing it because I've already heard it, you know. So that's the tricky thing with medley at the end of a project. We'll see. It's a good idea, though. I like the idea of a medley at the end. I think to get the medley and go, oh, that's from that track, I think I need to have heard them a few times before, because it's a lot to absorb and take in. 13 tracks, you know, coming up to about 40 minutes. It's a lot to take in one sitting. So I think after a few listens to the first 13 tracks, then I'll get the medley more. Yeah, it's a lovely track. It's a lovely track. After 13 tracks, I think this is where my weariness is setting in. I'm kind of like, oh. Perhaps if these Olympus tracks were released as a separate sort of EP, I think that would work quite well, because then you've got the Olympus album, and then you've got the sort of Olympus Gods Together album, where they could all be like, basically just the track. Instead of calling it Olympus, it could be called The Gods, and then it's just basically a compilation of that. But you wouldn't say compilation because, you know, people don't like that word, compilation. But combine it all together and have it as a separate EP. I'd say that would work. And you could tease it for later on. So you could release all that and go, now we're going to combine all of this together to make one piece that all the gods enjoy. I am hearing some things. I'm forgetting where they've come from, but I am hearing some familiar things at times. My wonder is, why has it been split into Part 1 and Part 2? Is there just a really significant stop coming up? And there was. So maybe perhaps there was no good way to transfer from this song to Olympus Part 2. Maybe that's why that was done. I don't think the medley's in order as it goes in tracks, because I swear I heard this earlier. So I feel like this is just like when it feels right. So we've got rain or thunder in the background. Could this be something to do with Zeus? Or maybe it's a fire. Like at first the 80s music was a bit jarring, but the more it appeared throughout the album, the more I got used to expecting perhaps some 80s sounds. So that worked. The most jarring sound throughout the project being these sort of game sounds, which may not have fitted in, but worked quite nicely and ended up being on one of my favourite tracks, The God of Wine. Dude. Very cool, very cool. We've got the children's voices in the background again. I think I'm definitely within the fatigue stage now of this project. It's not that the music is bad, but I think to focus your attention for so long on a project without doing other things is it's perhaps harder to do on projects this long. I have quite a good attention span too, I like to think. I haven't complained about the length of a lot of these songs, you know? And in today's world, we like 2-minute songs. Like in the heartbeat. This harking back to the goddess of youth. Like a baby's heartbeat. Although baby heartbeats go very fast. They're like... We've got the game sounds. Other than the guitar solo here. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with these last two tracks, Olympus Part 1 and Part 2, but I think being on the back end of the project, I don't think the tracks are getting the love they deserve. Whereas if this was its own project, track 14 and 15, I think I'd really enjoy them. I have enjoyed knowing what each song is about, so what each god is, though. That's helped me to picture the musical intention. I do think without that, some of the ideas could be lost. I wouldn't know that it's the God of the Fire section, for example. And a nice calm fade out. Super. Okay, so if I was going to rate this, I would usually rate it on the flow, the lyrics, the artwork, the production, and the singing. So let's go through each one, and I'll give each one a 10 out of 10, and then give it an average overall. So for the flow of the album, I think I'm going to give the flow a 9 out of 10. I thought it flowed together very nicely. Only one or two places where either I felt a bit of a lull or I felt like something was out of place, but nothing too jarring. And also what I liked about the flow was everything kept on adding and progressing on other ideas and past things, and it became very nice, a very nice, enjoyable listen because there were changes. Whereas if it was just a classical piece throughout, that was very similar, I think I'd find it very boring. So no, 9 out of 10 for flow, fantastic. Lyrics, I don't think I'm going to give any scores to lyrics because there weren't enough in there for me to probably give a score about. It doesn't need it, of course. Artwork, I think I'm going to give the artwork a 10 out of 10. I thought the artwork fitted the music very well up until the point where I heard the police radio chatter. That was the only time I felt I'd stepped out of this world. Other than that, I felt very much in this sort of Greek world. Production, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. The only times I felt the production was weaker was on the vocals, which, the vocals could have done with a bit of reverb and perhaps some work on mixing it using an equalizer. But other than that, production with the classical music sounds and instruments was brilliant. I mean, it's outstanding, really. And then singing, I think I'm going to give the singing a 10 out of 10. From what I heard, the singing was lovely. The vocals, the R's, the oohs, and the chanty kind of stuff all sounded brilliant and were not out of place or jarring or, off pitch or anything like that. So 10 out of 10. So if I could give this project an overall rating, I feel like I want to give it a 9 out of 10. It is a brilliant project, just with a bit of tweaking in some areas and perhaps removing the final 2 tracks to give them their own space to be enjoyed. Then I think that would make it a perfect album. But bear in mind, this is just my opinion, so if you think something different, you agree, disagree, let me know down in the comments, and also make sure to add this to your own streaming services when it's released. I'll put that in the description too. In a world where everyone wants to be heard but no one's doing the listening, be the one that does the listening. Goodbye, I guess. Why am I pointing like this? I don't know.
Oh, I say.